Welcome to another Jamwriter nugget. Bite-sized chunks of wisdom for your writing and publishing journey from Jamwriter authors. From manuscript to market and beyond. Today our authors will be talking about editing.
I feel like you have to. I can't trust myself with anything when it comes to editing. I feel like I can go through it and pick apart little pieces that maybe I didn't see the first time around. And I did that. I self-edited probably a dozen times, and then I had alpha readers go through it and beta readers. And then I hired an editor, and she definitely pulled apart. She kind of did a little bit of everything, but by then, since I had so many, I probably had, I had a couple of alpha readers, and then I had probably a dozen beta readers. And a lot of those people actually are sort of in the editing world.
I definitely rely on other readers, both for feedback for beta readers and to just get an opinion on the story. And I try to self-edit as much as possible, but I do rely on editing, for line editing, copy editing, also development editing for. Sometimes you can ask another writer to be nice enough and help you out with this, but there's tons of other freelancers also that you can hire and help you with this, and that's quite valuable.
So
because at some point you need someone with enough distance from the material.
That's it, isn't it?
To really give feedback on it.
I did my children's book. I have two sides, if you like, to my writing. One is this children's book, which grew out of working in the local school and talking to children. I was reading a lot with children, and I was reading a lot with children that were struggling to read for various reasons. Right. And so I developed a book series called Mitchy Mooch Try, and that, because it's not an unusual concept. It's a first experiences series, but because I wanted to get it absolutely pitched right, then I did work with an editor who I was really, really lucky. I worked with the same editor as Liz Pichon, and she also edits the Horrible History series.
Oh, right. Okay.
So she's very well known in the children's field, so to speak, and she helped me kind of narrow down what I was trying to do and point out that I was probably trying to do too much all in one thing and hit too many boxes when actually it needed to be a little bit simpler. So that side of things I did work with an editor. In terms of the novels, because I write historical fantasy novels, which are reasonably niche, I would say. They're very specifically set. The prequel set in Viking Age, but the main series is set in the Tudor Age. So I struggled to find a development editor that had exactly the right historical knowledge that I was looking for. I'm still working with that, to be quite honest with you. What I've actually found more helpful is working with beta readers who are historians. So some of them, and I've got a team of about 5 beta readers who work with me on both books actually so far, and the one I'm writing at present, to make sure that what I'm doing is historically correct, it's appropriate. One of them is a sort of specialist in fantasy, so she helps with the kind of fantasy tropes, so to speak. Right. And they're as a team more of my editing team than paying a development editor per se.
That was gut-wrenching. I thought of this as kind of an adventure story that would be on the short end of novel length, but the editor saw it as an adventure that had enough character evolution that it needed to be much longer. Right. She also commented that it came across almost like it was written to be adapted for the screen, which is interesting because my writing coach works on screenplays. So it could be that I was infected by that. But I guess the other thing is that having been a blogger, I viewed each chapter as kind of a segment, but I needed a lot of help, as it turned out, with transitions and point of view. And so that's why the rewrite took me about 3 months. It was a long and arduous process, and it was very emotional for me. I really had to work hard to get through it.
I do a line edit and a developmental edit, but I also use a program called Pro Writing Aid, and I'm actually going to be developing a little mini course on how I use that tool. But it's going to be really up to the author. How, there's an awful lot of authors that are just exhausted after they've written this book and they don't want to do anything with it. But I found that my relationship with my editor really took off because I spent the time with my manuscript and ran it through Pro Writing Aid's extensive toolkit. And when I handed her something, it was pretty darn clean. Right. And that gave me, not only she caught all the stuff that my tired eyes weren't seeing anymore, because after a certain point, your brain just fixes things as you're reading problems. But then her development, she could really put time on the developmental. And I believe her name is Jenny Rosenblum, and she's based out of Austin, Texas, here in the United States. I think she's done 6 books for me now. Right. And we have a great relationship. And it's partly because I'm not handing her a schlock manuscript. It's ready. It's ready to be professionally edited because I have spent after I wrote it to get it as tight as I can get it. And that way, when she does say, well, I think this is, this voice on this character is wrong, I've got energy left for rewrites. I'm not having to do just massive amounts of line editing that she's handing me. I can actually sit here and think, well, what does this character, what's going on in their head? How do I make the reader see who this person is better?
Exactly.
And so those kind of things give a manuscript a leg up because it's really going to hold up.
Then I twisted her arm and made her my editor. And she has I'm only one of 2 clients she has for editing because her other part of the industry keeps her pretty busy. But she has a great eye for what to get rid of, what not to get rid of. The first time she edited, when she sent me back notes and had like 6 pages yellowed out with highlights saying, reduce this to 4 paragraphs. I nearly died. Yeah,
that hurts, doesn't it?
But I got it down to 1 page, and it was better. She was absolutely right. So she has been a great help, and I think my finished product is about as good as it can get. I know that there's always going to be a mistake or a typo somewhere, but for as many people that have gone through it, it's going to be pretty subtle if it slipped through all of their eyes, and I'm not too concerned about it then.